will be a time for preparation. And I will be sticking with verse 12. Ask your neighbor, are you waiting on God's timing?
Waiting on God's time.
You got to say it with confidence. Are you waiting on God's timing?
Are you waiting on God's time?
And my question to you, do you listen to your Mordecai?
Amen.
One way, God gave it to another way. Okay, we all know the story of Esther. How Esther was appointed queen and how she was there to save her people. I want to go with four vital lessons in Esther. The first lesson is there is a time for preparation. Esther allowed herself to be prepared for the task. God's preparation time can sometimes be long and eventful. Where Esther was being in preparation, she had to be purified. As some of us today have to be purified. She fasted and I'm going to fast. She had to be purified to go to the kingdom. Some of us need to be purified to go in the presence of the king. We have to be purified of worldly things. We have to be purified of ourselves. We have to be purified of things known to the flesh to go in the presence of the king. Some of us don't want to be purified, and we still try to go into the presence of the king, and then everything that we go before the king with is voided. It's not voided, but it's voided. Y'all bear with me. The refining of our characters is very essential to God's plan for our life. God cannot use a proud woman or a man. Some of us we are very proud in our walk with Christ. And God cannot use us if we are very proud in our walk with him. Some of us is too proud to listen to our Mordecais. God sent us where in Esther, God won't end. They never mention God's name, but you see the hand of God in Esther. And Esther had Mordecai. Our Mordecais today are our leaders. That's why I asked you the question: do you listen to your Mordecai? Our Mordecai help us go along with this walk with Christ. Secondly, we need the favor of God. Esther found favor with the king, and so did Mordecai. Even Jesus found favor with men and God. When you live a life pleasing to God by obeying his will, you will find favor with him. God will also give us favor with people. And when Esther found favor with the king, that's when she was trying to help her people. She did that by doing prayer and fasting, which fasting is a abstinence from food for a predetermined period. It's a godly exercise which brings us closer to God. And sometimes us as people, we need to turn down our plate. We need to fast and we need to pray to get an answer for God to find favor. We need to know that God's timing is always best. We need to wait for God's timing in doing things. It's dangerous to jump out before our time. Sometimes God will give us something to do and we'll jump out there before our time because we're overly excited. But it's always best to wait on God's timing. So everything will be just right. Third thing is God works in his own timing and in his own season. Esther got her timing right. Maybe God will put something, like I said, and put something in our hearts to do. And we jump out there before God is ready for us to complete that task. And y'all just bear with me. Like I said, we jump out there before our time. And then we wonder why things go wrong because we jump out there before our time. God will move in the time when we remain faithful and alert to his leading. Sometimes we go into our own leading instead of letting God lead us in the way that he wants us to go. And then we wonder why things go wrong in our life. When we listen to God and move, when God say move, everything will work out in God's perfect plan. And the last thing is your background doesn't hinder your future with God. Esther was an orphan, but God still exalted her and he used her. And again, your background does not determine what God can do with your life. It's your faith that determines. A lot of times people look at a lot of people's background, where they came from, just because they're from a project or they know their past, they determine who they are in Christ. But God don't look at our background. God don't judge us of our background because he knew us before we was in our mother's womb. He know who we are. And sometimes if we get on that mind thinking of God know who we are, we'll be better off. A lot of times, even us ourselves, we can hinder ourselves by thinking about our own background and worried about if people are going to receive us for who we are because of our background. But that's just a trick of the enemy. When Esther went before to be the queen, she did not think about her background. She didn't care what nobody else think because God shaped her and he molded her. He prepared her for the task. She did not know what task she was going to do. She didn't know what was going to happen when she became queen. But God shaped her and molded her. She was ready. And then at the same time, she had her Mordecai with her. And if some of us listen to our Mordecais, we'll be better off walking in this walk. Because our Mordecais is not there to hurt us or harm us. Our Mordecais are there to push us into our destiny. And if I leave anything with you tonight, listen to your Mordecai. Me, myself, I've been hard at listening to my Mordecai. But it took me to read Esther to listen. I got to listen to my Mordecai. Because God don't send us our Mordecais for nothing, just to be there for decoration. God sent our Mordecais for us to walk with us, to help us. So if I leave anything with you, listen to your Mordecai.